All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Tucson Fine Mineral Gallery this afternoon. My name is Stuart Ebert, and I'm the gallery manager here throughout the year. It's my pleasure to introduce Maribel and Paula Crevoshay and her presentation this afternoon on Crevoshay, Where the Light Live in Beauty. So, Mark and Paula, if you please come up.
Thank you. So I'm Paula, of course, I'm not Martin. Martin is my husband, and he is a really brilliant genius in every way. And his family, the Rio Grande, was sold to Warren Buffett after they took their father's business, which he started in like 1920s, over the moon, the sun, and the rainbow. And by the time they sold it to Warren Buffett, they were selling to over 150 countries, everything we need to make jewelry, cut stones, all of it. So Martin is a very, very major factor in helping me with all the projects that I take on. So thank you, Martin.
You're welcome.
And I'm Paula Crevoshay. What we're going to do is study the phenomena of the mineral kingdom a bit. And I'm going to have you see it virtually in a movie with my voice. And afterwards, we can have questions and I will provide answers. But I do this because I find it engages the audience almost like we're in a movie theater. Nothing's going to distract you from that screen. So I called it tangible light. And the reason is the light for me becomes tangible in these gems, and I create symphonies of light with the different properties and characteristics of the gems that have come from these minerals.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My lecture in images, crystals, and gems and jewels will take us on a journey exploring what I call tangible light in my jewelry collection. Jewelry, like painting and sculpture, is a visual art. We experience it primarily by sensing light reflected from the object with our eyes. We then add to the jewelry. We can add transmitted light to the experience. First, the most obvious property of a gemstone is its color. My greatest talent as an artist is that I am a colorist. In fact, the trade press started referring to me as the Queen of Color 30 years ago. Color is not as simple as it might seem. Many gems have color within color. In addition to primary color, there can be a secondary or even 3 or 4 more colors reaching the human eye. This richness of palette is what I work with as an artist. The complexity of the visual feast with gemstones doesn't stop only with the colors reflected and the transmitted light. There's a dazzling array of mesmerizing special effects to explore and enjoy. Today, I will move beyond color and address optical phenomena. And my first optical phenomena is play of color. The most common optical phenomenon are different kinds of iridescence. My favorite is the play of color found in opal. The first slide here has Ethiopian opal. Like people, no 2 opals are exactly alike. It is the shifting or play of the colors in the gem that are so mesmerizing. This effect cannot be captured in a still photograph. Just the same, these opals are spectacular. They're from Ethiopia, and beyond their beauty, they are special because the rarest and therefore the most valued colors are red and orange. The second slide is a portrait of a Portuguese man of war. With a natural crystal opal nugget, from Mexico. It exhibits the full spectrum in an ever-changing dance over the full surface with no extinction. I knew immediately when I held it in the palm of my hand that it would become a jellyfish jewel. My talented friend Glenn Layer hand-carved the agate valves and the piece of chrysocolla echoing the glands in the anatomy of the man of war. But the play of color in the opal is mind-boggling. The next image is all about Mexican opal and Ethiopian opal. The bracelet on the left has polished rough nuggets of orange opal, but inside this Mexican opal, there is a display of green fire, and it's the play of color within the rock. The necklace on the right is Mexican fire opal. It's so rare to get this fine quality in a necklace of Mexican opals. I can only get 1 or 2 per year. The Ethiopian opals that are in the earring drops below have such an electric green fire that I had to use rich emeralds to accent them and bring out the contrast of the orange found in the play of light, but enhance the vivid green. It brings it all to the human eye. Now we're coming to my slide of my mosaic caviar bracelet. There are 26 pieces of an orange opal, creating this beautiful, flexible, and very wearable bracelet. Again, on the left, both the ruff and the cabochon are reflecting those green lights that we have seen in my previous slide. Contrasting greens to the orange are on to the category of Ethiopian opals on the left, found in the necklace, which is absolutely spellbinding. It has a divine light like I've never seen. It's complemented by Ethiopian opal drops that, like the necklace, have tense play of color traversing the entire spectrum from blue to green to lavender and to pink. It's literally a dance of light. On the right, we have an Oregon opal cut by Lawrence Stoller as the thorax of the body of my butterfly. It's capped at the top with orange Mexican opal mele micropave shining through the Oregon opal and adding a fabulous glow of color being transmitted through the orange opal into the golden Oregon opal. Now we're seeing 2 fabulous pendants. Like most of my pendants, these can also be worn as a brooch or a pendant. The versatility of being able to wear jewelry in different ways adds value to the jewel and is much more fun for the wearer and the owner. Harmony on the left is an Ethiopian opal in the center stone. In addition to the unusual blues and greens, this opal has an unusual dance of orange, lavender, and hot pink, which I accentuated and emphasized with pink and orange sapphires. I added diamonds for a little more sparkle. On the right is Monet's window. And again, we have electric blues and greens primarily found in that center stone. So my natural inclination was to take neon apatite and ornament the deeper note in the blue-green versus the green to bring a halo of complementary light, but coming at different transmission points because the neon apatites are doubly refractive. The next category that we're moving into is the beautiful color and nature of the black opal category from Australia. These stones have some of the most magnificent play of light in the universe and play of color. That's why they are included here. The pendant on the left is named Diana because I thought the pendant was as elegant and fit for a princess of Diana's beauty. On the right, the very electric blue, very rare stones that we see accenting the earring suite are hyoonite. They're very rare, and they were cut in Germany just for this very piece for me. And the black opals are detachable and interchangeable. There's a curlicue behind each one of the segments, so the wearer can choose which drop to add to what top, and endless possibilities abound. We found this distinguishing mark in the finest of the fine art jewelry, and it's always found in Crevoshay. The finishing touch in the black opal suite is Black Beauty. The opal is embellished with emeralds and diamond. Color change is a phenomenon which gemstones will change color depending on the light source, changes into the absorption of light going through the gemstone, combined with the color of the light source, incandescent light, which is rich in red, and when it changes in daylight, it is rich and blue. I love color change stones because it's like they have a special secret. They're like a friend that has a delightful sense of humor, and they only show people that they are close to. They are especially fun to design because I get to choose the complementary colors and stones that bring out the best in them. I designed this double dragon ring for Martin because he was born in the year of the dragon. You'll notice on both sides of the shank there is an intricately carved dragon, very beautifully executed in 18-karat gold. This was one reason I named the ring Double Dragon. The other is because the beautiful spinel is a color change from royal blue to purple. This is a very special jewel to me. The gemstone was collected by the late, great George Crevoshay in Sri Lanka in the early 1980s. It was rare then, and it is rare now. And here is another example of great color change. This fabulous alexandrite displays 100% color change. I just had to add that to this section. We're moving on to a brooch and a pendant that I named Dahlia. It features a rare color change garnet from Madagascar. The color change is from fuchsia pink to a deep, rich purple. It is complemented in this composition by two colors of sapphire, purple and fuchsia. Please notice that the alternating rows of petals enhance and echo the two colors, even when they change from fuchsia to purple. Now we're moving on to a really exciting category in our phenomena. We will explore and look at the orient found in pearls. Pearls are judged by size, shape, symmetry, color, luster, and very much on orient. Orient is the iridescence displayed by some pearls. The higher, the better. As an artist, high orient gives me the greatest opportunity to bring out the beauty of a pearl. The orient can be the same and or different than the body color of the pearl and can display a whole palette of colors at once. On my next slide is an excellent example. The first jewel on the left is named Queen Sirikit, after the beautiful and exotic queen of Thailand, whose beauty was unsurpassed in her lifetime. The design is very Thai culturally, similar to design elements that can be found in temples throughout its beautiful land. The sacred pearl below this architectural element has a very rich palette, including blue, green, green-blue, yellow, green blushes of orange, pink, and lavender. Both the gems and the field of textured gold are designed to bring out more subtle hues found in the Orient. It is an amazing pearl, and its true beauty is one of the best pearls that I've ever found that display such Orient. In the amazing image of my butterfly on the right, you are viewing a natural Mississippi pearl. It is so amazingly beautiful in Orient, and it exhibits a range of golden yellows, shades of lavenders, plums, and purples. Incredibly, I found rainbow moonstones in my collection. They're oval cabochons, a matched pair, and they echoed the very same colors with their agilorescence. And they were the very same hues and shades. So I also decided to make them as the eyes of the butterfly and include the colors and patterns and shapes that you find in the wings to echo this rich phenomenon with lavender faceted marquise as well as yellow round shapes in yellow sapphires that you find within both the moonstone agilorescence as well as the orient of the pearl. In the next photo, I have two natural pearls from the Sea of Cortez in Mexico. One is Midnight Seduction on the left. It is such a rare, natural abalone pearl with intense orients of blues and purples, balanced by golden yellow, pink, and red. Its orient is off the charts. I immediately saw the pearl as a cup of an orchid. The top petals have shades of purple sapphire and blue zircons from Cambodia. There is a rubellite in the middle, and the apron is paved with sapphire and gold. And the orchid is being visited by a friend, a coral and black diamond ladybug. Midnight Seduction was purchased by the Gemological Institute of America. It's on permanent display at their New York City campus, where all the students get off of the elevator on the floor, and as soon as they leave the elevator, it has its very own vitrine. And I want to give a shout out to GIA and many of our industry affiliations that have supported Crevoshay over the decades. Thank you. My friend, the great innovative gem dealer named Barding Goff, had a collection of some of the highest quality natural pearls, which he gave to me before he died, with the instruction that I should mount them in beautiful jewels for the world to enjoy. This beautiful pearl came from that collection. The shape was so unusual that I showed it to the late natural pearl expert, John Latendresse. He told me that it was a very unique pearl, and he'd never seen anything even close to it in his experience, and he was very experienced. Further told me to send it to the GIA for them to study, and that I should never sell it. It is way too rare. It's beautiful from every angle, so I drilled it at east and west and mounted it on a platinum wire so the owner, which is me, and I have it on my hand, the pearl can spin so any viewer can examine it from head to toe. It has been speculated that the shape was caused by a living organism that spun to try to escape as the mollusk encapsulated it into the pearl. That was John Latendresse's idea and concept, and you can see the different rings of color and play of light. The orient, it goes from purple to pink to lavender to silver gray to electric greens. I will never part with my ring. So this is one of the greatest treasures that has come into my hands as a gift to create something that has such a magical and mysterious story that can never be repeated again. Now we're coming to the new color in Chinese freshwater pearls. It's natural color, they're cultured, and I named the necklace Hannah Rose. The Chinese freshwater pearls, I had never gotten a lot of lavender color until the last number of years. And I love lavender. It is such a universal palette for most wearers. It just can combine with so many colors. And I love that it's natural. And I love its palette. It's absolutely gorgeous. You can see when you're holding them, and I have some in my showcase here that you can inspect and actually let them shimmer with their orient under the lights. Sometimes the blues come out, and then sometimes the really rich, deeper purples come through. Our next slide is one of my favorite bracelets. It's also here today. I named it the Treasure of the Sea. I was approached by an agent of the Prince of Monaco who asked me to make a jewel using cultured pearls that could be sold to raise money to clean the oceans. Treasure of the Sea is the result. These are perfectly matched South Sea pearls. They are completely free of blemishes and have a high luster and orient. They're glowing. They look tangibly alive. In honor of the project to clean the treasure that is the sea, I chose waves as my theme. As in nature, every wave is different. They're no two alike. The rolling water is depicted by sapphire, tsavorite, and the sea foam is signified by the diamonds and the moonstones. In this composition, the agilurescence of the moonstones harmonize with the orient found in these great pearls to a high and excellent effect. A little over 20 years ago, I became infatuated with fire agate. It combines two of my most favorite obsessions, the botryoidal crystal habit and iridescence like an opal. In fact, the iridescence in fire agate is caused by the diffraction of light in layers of very small balls of silica, just as it is in opal. The red body color is contributed by layers of iron oxide. I had a great deal of fun composing jewels with fire agate. The fire agate in sunshine on the left is surrounded by a chrome diopside as well as a tourmaline. It is flanked by two sunstones with very strong copper schiller and has a cherry opal on the bottom. In the Ring of Fire bracelet on the right, I have paired the fire agate from Arizona with cherry opal from Mexico and iolites from India. On the next slide, we have sun rays. The primary stone is a prehnite, the golden yellow. Here, the fire agate along with cherry opal is an accent stone. Scheherazade conjures up mystery and romance and magical improbability. The colors of the gold and accent stones bring out the iridescence of the fire agate and is complemented by the pear-shaped golden zircon cabochon dangling at the bottom of this beautiful pendant. In this slide, we see my dragonfly fireflight. Ammonite is the opalized fossil of ammonite shells. The very best ones have a graduation starting with the colors red, then orange, yellow, green, blue, and even purple, all with such vibrancy. These colors are actually stacked layers with thicker red orange on the top and the thinner blue, then the purple at the bottom. The cutter must polish through the top layer to reveal the other colors below. If they remove even a fraction of a millimeter too much, they will have gone completely through the iridescent layers and ruined the stone. And I used to draw shapes and send them to the ammonite miners and have them cut. This piece is large, about 4 inches long. Months passed, and they kept reassuring me that it would be ready soon. When it finally arrived, it was magnificent, displaying every color. At the following Tucson show, the miners came to my booth to see what I had done with their stone. They told me that they would never accept a commission for a piece that large again, as they had destroyed a great deal of top-quality rough trying to make it for me. I was grateful to them that they stuck to their word and sad to hear what happened to them. I want to point out that in the thoracic body of Firefly, you see all of those colors that I described. It is a miracle that this piece could be made due to the dedication of those miners not giving up. Now we're going to explore one of my favorite phenomena, adulorescence. The 3 gem varieties of feldspar are sunstone, moonstone, and labradorite. They all exhibit optical phenomena. In sunstone, it is called adventurescence. In moonstone, adulorescence. And in labradorite, labradorescence. Those are all beautiful words to my ear because I do love this type of transmission of light. I've worked with all these categories in adventurescence for decades. It's one of my favorite categories. This brooch and pendant is rather large in scale, but still it is calming with a soft and soothing feeling due to adulorescence. It is fun to pair the adulorescence of the moonstones with this lovely orient found in the pearls. The eye is drawn to the stone and accent stones by the bright finish of the bezels, and the gold background recedes because it is due to the stippled finish. And please notice the fine art of granulation that's around this frame. That gives another dimension of light as well, which echoes and reinforces the theme of circles and curves and also textures. Heavenly moonlight is a festive celebration of inspiring beauty of our night sky. It is composed with 137 blue flash moonstones from Sri Lanka and a supporting cast of Ceylon sapphires, blue zircons from Cambodia, as well as iolites from India. There are 565 gemstones in this beautiful cuff. My first husband, George Crevoshay, and I spent a great deal of time buying rough gems in Sri Lanka, and we became good friends with a family that had been mining moonstones for over 400 years. Pardon the pun, but I was moonstruck when I first saw fine adulorescence. Moonstones have been an important part of my palette ever since. I'm sad to report that the mines in Sri Lanka and India have played out, and large, fine material is no longer available. In fact, in India, they have built apartment buildings on top of the mines that once yielded some of the most marvelous of colors. My friends are out of moonstones and now trade in sapphire. In the next slide, we have 2 moonstone rings. On the left, we have essence with moonstruck on the right. Essence is bedecked in diamonds, and moonstruck is adorned with diamonds and more moonstones, and it is glowing from its adulorescence. The tops of these elegant earrings are composed with diamonds and faceted opal, And the removable drops are faceted blue moonstone and diamond. Like so much of my work, is very simple at first glance, but reveals greater and greater complexity the longer you study it. In fact, both of these moonstones in this category of agilurescence, we need to study the fact that the blue moonstone is very, very beautiful in high contrast to the white. And then the diamond's refractive index makes a dance of light. In Sophia, the brooch, that center moonstone is a perfect cat's eye. It's a pendant. It is so beautiful. The combination of the pearl to the agilurescence is really elegant. We're moving into the category lapidarescence, which is lovely to say, and it's one of my favorite phenomena. This is Okami, a gray wolf. When contemplating what gemstones would best depict his fur, I decided on labradorite because of lapidarescence, and diamond because of the high refractive index and the range of colors I could use, the browns, the grays, the whites. Okami's eyes are made of amber with black diamond pupils, and his nose was carved by Glenn Lair from black jade. The nose is perfect. I have Glenn do all of my noses. He's very talented. The balance of the stones are faceted labradorite and diamonds. As you turn this Okami into the light, the fur almost comes alive with the brilliance and the dance and play of the color. On the left is a gorgeous photo of intense iridescence on a piece of rough labradorite. The frozen fire necklace on the right is among the finest collections of labradorite beads that I have ever encountered in my lifetime. These labradorite earring drops are cut across the grain, and they reveal the structure of crystal growth. I love Anna, my wolf jewel, that was inspired by the Endangered Wolf Center in St. Louis. Anna was the only surviving Mexican wolf pup sired by Santa Ana with Tanamara, two other wolves that were at the center. Mexican wolves native to Mexico and the southwestern U.S. were declared extinct in the wild in 1980, and they were so very few in any zoos. Anna had 41 pups in 4 litters, and so is the matriarch of many of the wolves that have been released into the wild in hopes of recovery of this keystone species. Every time I sell one of my wolves, I donate a percentage of proceeds to the St. Louis Wolf Center. Now we're going to explore pleochroism. Pleochroism, Greek for many colors, is when a crystal displays different colors depending on which crystal axis it is oriented towards and pointed to the viewer's eye. Tetragonal, trigonal, and hexagonal minerals can only show 2 colors and are called dichroic. Orthorhombic, monoclinic, and triclinic crystals can show 3 and are trichroic. Cubic crystals never are pleochroic. Most pleochroic gems are oriented to show just the most beautiful and or the most saleable color. Tanzanite, a trademark name for zoisite, is triachloric, showing blue, red, purple, and on the third axis, yellow-green. It is usually cut to show the blue. I commissioned the masterful Victor Tuzlakov to cut this tanzanite center stone in this brooch and pendant to show both blue and red purple. If you gently rock the jewel, The colors of different facets will alternate. It's exciting and great fun to behold. Just to add another layer of intrigue to the composition, I used alexandrites along with the pink and lavender sapphires, as well as diamonds, as accent stones, so the jewel would look different in day and in evening. On the left image is a beautiful tanzanite crystal, which often come in beautiful shapes. On the right is a gorgeous tanzanite, oriented to show this lush, rich blue color. It is faceted as a dodecagon, which is a 12-sided polygon, by the great Larry Woods. He is justifiably proud of this achievement. It is a gorgeous jewel with animation. I made it like it was spinning in a wave in the ocean. I just love this 14.89 karat tanzanite. I thought that I needed to do something very special to complement the complex dance of light in this very special Larry Woods gemstone. I designed this circular wave to create a jewel with a kinetic feel. I love the way it came out. Sphene is trichroic, doubly refractive with strong bifringence, and has off-the-charts dispersion. Gemmy examples tend to run from yellowish-green and greenish-yellows into the brown, like you see here in the crystal and the faceted stone in my Shield of the Goddess pendant. The sphene is 5.01 carats and accented by brown diamonds, white diamonds, and rubies. The large green sphene in anemone weighs 10.86 carats. I had a lot of fun pairing it with round, pear, as well as marquee-shaped opals that echo the play of the colors found within the sphene. Nothing has a better golden light than the highly polished gold, so there are curved gold mirrors on the inner petals under the opals. More highlights are brought out by the greens and blues of tsavorite, sapphire, apatite, and blue zircon. Sphenes are extremely popular with collectors because they are so hypnotically entertaining. They are also fun to design with because of the endless possibilities in choosing gems to pair them with. Let's move on to asterism and chatoyancy. Asterism and chatoyancy, also known as cat's eyes, are caused by the reflection of light from tiny tube or needle-like inclusions that are formed within the crystal. Stars can have 4, 6, or 12 rays depending on the material. In this picture, we have corundum. The stars in the sapphire, ruby, and purple sapphire are caused by rutile inclusions and are experienced as a star that glides across the surface of the stone as it is moved in the light. We judge the quality of a star effect by how long, straight, and complete all of the rays are. In the next slide, we are seeing a star in a rose quartz star gem. The rarest star stone I ever set was a 60-carat aquamarine. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture of it, and I lost track of the collector who bought it because the retailer went out of business, so I could not contact her to have Chris photograph this for the project. It was so phenomenal and beautiful. The next gem and jewel is Ice Angel. The jewel incorporates an award-winning gemstone cut by the great Glenn Lair from a beautiful and very large, very fine aquamarine crystal. I have used a very fine blue star sapphire from Ceylon for the angel's eye. The category adventure essence, also called Schiller, which is German for shimmer, is caused by a profusion of tiny copper platelets in the sunstone. Not all sunstone, even from the same mine, will have these inclusions. The copper platelets, which are eye visible, are arranged in layers and stacked in planes. They are usually oriented perpendicular to the planes to show the greatest sparkle, which you can see in the cabochons in my bracelet. I asked the late Larry Gray, who owned the Ponderosa mine at the time, to facet some stones for me, but to cut across the grain and at an angle. You can see the results in the pear shape as well as the marquee shapes in the gems of these rings. I think the revealed structure of the crystals is so very beautiful. Please notice in the bracelet that I also had moonstones faceted for extra brilliance. I like to pair sunstones and moonstones in my jewels because they are both feldspars. I call these pairings gemological clues. The Eye of Oregon earrings feature a matched pair of very fine red sunstone. They are free of Schiller. The ring on the right has a very large 9.94 carat sunstone cut on the bias. On the right is an extraordinary example of adventure essence. Just look at all those iridescent spangles. This stone is just mesmerizing. In the ring on the right, we have a stone carved by Michael Diber. This is classic Oregon sunstone with copper Schiller, oriented to catch the light. On the left, we have a very fine red sunstone faceted by Larry Woods in his signature medicine wheel cut. And on the right is a red sunstone faceted by Glenn Lair in a variation of his patented Taurus ring cut. This is a very beautiful rough sunstone and large faceted red one embellished with faceted moonstones and diamonds. In addition to the great bounty of beauty of the colored gems Mother Nature has blessed us with, there's a wonderful variety of gemstones, exhibiting fascinating optical phenomena for us to enjoy. As you have seen, the addition of these materials to my palette has enriched my art as a colorist. Our generous host, the Tucson Fine Mineral Gallery, have provided me a showcase with some of my pieces for you to enjoy. I thank you for your kind attention today. We now have time for questions and comments. Who would like to go first? Oh, I didn't do it right. Can you hear me normally? Okay, great. Well, it's finally over. I hope you enjoyed it as far as the movie and film. I thought it would be a wonderful way to present the visuals so that they're vivid. And also we have cabinets filled with some of the ones that you saw on the film. And if you have any questions, we can open it up to anybody that does. Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So, in the starting point of this, does the stone tell you what it wants to be done? Do you start with the stone and develop into the jewelry piece? Or do you have a concept of a jewelry piece and just look for the right stone?
That is the most perfect question, and you almost answered it the way I always answer that question, which is I most predominantly start with the center stone, and I study it until I know what it wishes to become. because it comes that way with me. Once I've got that, I take the stone on my studio table and I put little dots around it on vellum. Then I put the stone back in my hand and I draw everything with that energy of my hand. I really do. I always do that. Now, having said that, that maybe 90% of the time that is the case. But many times I have to search and find a stone that's perfect for the mineralogical story I want to tell. So it is, but it's predominantly, you are absolutely right. It's predominantly that. Anyone else? No? No one has a question? Okay. Do you want to play in the jewels?